What would you do if you found a dead body on your property? What do you think the farmer did? Listen to the end for the answers. If you would like to hear more of this story, please subscribe and tell us in the comments. Thank you for listening and enjoy. Jake wasn't a complicated man. Work, eat, sleep. That was his life. He'd inherited his daddy's stubborn streak and his grandpappy's land. Good land, mostly. But the far 40, that was new territory, never tilled. This year he decided that was changing. So, out he went with his trusty John Deere, ready to wrestle the earth. Sun beat down, engine rumbled, and the plow cut through years of untouched soil. Suddenly, a jarring clang. The tractor lurched, nearly bucking Jake off. He killed the engine, spitting a stream of tobacco juice. Something big was buried down there. Time to see what secrets the earth was hiding. Shovel in hand, Jake cleared away the dirt. The sun beat down, sweat trickling down his brow. A rusted metal door emerged, half buried like some forgotten tomb. The metal was cold to the touch, despite the heat. Curiosity gnawed at him. What was this doing on his land? He'd never seen anything like it before. He'd lived here all his life, never heard a whisper of anything buried out here. The land had always been quiet, unassuming. With a grunt, he hefted the heavy door. It resisted, as if it didn't want to be disturbed. It creaked open, revealing a dark, earthen stairwell leading down into the unknown. The air was musty, filled with the scent of damp earth. A shiver ran down Jake's spine. He wasn't the superstitious type, but something about this place felt wrong. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. He almost turned back, almost. But curiosity, like a thirsty dog, wouldn't be denied. He had to know what lay beneath. Taking a deep breath, Jake grabbed his flashlight and descended into the darkness. Each step echoed, the unknown beckoning him deeper. Suddenly, a man in a chicken suit appeared, dancing wildly in the field. Jake blinked, unsure if he was hallucinating. The bizarre sight was out of place, yet oddly captivating. Shaking his head, Jake refocused on the stairwell. The darkness below seemed even more inviting now, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. The air grew thick and stale as he descended, each step echoing ominously. The steps ended in a small, concrete room cloaked in shadows. The atmosphere was suffocating. Empty shelves lined the walls like silent sentinels. It felt like an abandoned bunker, forgotten by time. Then his flashlight beam caught something lurking in the far corner. A shadowy figure. A figure slumped against the wall. He moved closer, heart pounding with dread, each step heavier than the last. It was a man, dressed in a tattered gray uniform, eerily still. The uniform looked ancient. A Confederate soldier by the looks of it, but that was impossible, wasn't it? The uniform was unmistakable. The Civil War ended over 150 years ago. This couldn't be real. It defied all logic. Yet, the soldier looked fresh, like he'd just fallen into a deep, unnatural sleep. His appearance was haunting. His skin, though pale, was unnervingly smooth. His features, disturbingly relaxed, as if he might wake at any moment. It was the most unsettling thing Jake had ever seen, a chilling discovery that defied explanation. His mind raced with questions. Time seemed to stand still as he stared at the figure, the seconds stretching into eternity. The light flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced around the room, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Jake's eyes were wide with disbelief, his breath shallow. This was beyond anything he had ever imagined. Section 4. Experts and Theories. This is where things started to get really complicated and the situation spiraled into a whirlwind of confusion and speculation. The next few hours were a blur. People were rushing around, and it felt like the entire world had descended upon Jake's quiet farm. Sheriff's deputies, the coroner, even some folks from the state government. They all showed up, each with their own theories and questions. The bunker became a swarm of activity. It was like a scene out of a movie, with everyone trying to piece together the mystery. They were as baffled by the soldier as Jake was. No one had any answers, only more questions. The body, they said, was in an impossible state of preservation. No signs of decomposition, no explanation. It was as if time had stood still for this soldier. Theories flew around like crows at a pie supper. Cryogenic freezing gone wrong. Some kind of time capsule. Some kind of elaborate hoax. The ideas were as wild as they were varied. Jake just stood there, watching them poke and prod his land. His life now a three-ring circus. He felt like a spectator in his own story. He just wanted to get back to his plowing, but they told him his fields were quarantined until further notice. Quarantined? It was hard to believe. For a dead soldier from a war long gone, a relic from the past disrupting the present, it was enough to make a man want to spit. Jake's frustration was palpable, and the uncertainty of it all weighed heavily on him. Section 5. Quarantine Blues. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. The passage of time felt surreal, almost dreamlike. The story made national news, capturing the attention of people far and wide. Reporters camped out by his mailbox, eager for any new developments. Scientists in biohazard suits came and went, whispering in hushed tones, their presence adding to the eerie atmosphere. Through it all, Jake's fields remained untouched, a silent testament to the chaos around him. The corn was going to be the worst he'd ever seen, a devastating blow to his livelihood. The government offered him some money, a pittance for his troubles, but it was hardly enough. He told them to keep it, his pride refusing to accept charity. It wasn't about the money. It was about something much deeper. It was about his land, his livelihood, the very essence of who he was. He was a farmer, and farmers, they farm. It's what they do. It's in their blood. Sitting on his porch, staring out at the yellowing corn, Jake felt a knot of frustration tighten in his gut. The weight of the situation was almost unbearable. He was a prisoner on his own land, all thanks to a ghost in a gray suit, a haunting reminder of the life he once knew. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the state university released their preliminary findings. The soldier, they said, was authentic, dating back to the Civil War. His uniform, his equipment, the contents of his pockets, and even the food found in his stomach all matched historical records. The body was in pristine condition, with no identifiable cause of death. They were not able to identify his name or the actual unit he came from. His medal and insignias indicate a special Confederate unit that is to this day classified. They found no trace of modern preservatives, no evidence of cryogenics. The bunker itself offered no answers. It was an undocumented ammo storage unit built sometime during the Civil War. Traces of gunpowder, other explosive materials, and unidentified highly combustible materials were removed from the bunker. Ironically, none of these found materials were actually on the deceased body. The soldier had been in the bunker for over 150 years. Though how and what purpose, no one could say. Unanswered questions. Despite extensive analysis, the university could not determine the cause of death. After the university presented their findings, the federal government took over. The federal government force-purchased the back 40 acres under the National Security Act. They compelled everyone to sign federal non-disclosure forms, threatening imprisonment for non-compliance. 20-foot concrete walls were erected around the 40 acres, and a top-secret research team was activated. Jake was pissed. He attempted to obtain legal help but was advised to take the money and keep his mouth shut. Jake finally accepted the deal when the federal government promised in writing the land and new building advancements would revert back to him and his family once research was completed. The military took over. The mystery deepened, shrouded now not just in the historical artifacts, but in secrecy.